directly with. And that was a huge mistake. It was a disaster. I mean, we came to learn that this partner's personality was very aggressive. Um, they were rude. They were very skeptical. They kind of brought the negative energy, you know, in meetings, the energy kind of went down. It's like, um, it was really not a good experience for anyone. I mean, the way he spoke to my staff and my partners was terrible. And just learning his personality style is very like high conflict. You know, he loved the confrontation. He loved the conflict. For him, that felt productive to be in a meeting and say, well, what are you doing? What is this person doing? And why? Like, that's just his personality type, right? Whereas the way we do business here, we are professionals. You know, me and the partner that I run this business with, you know, she's worked for Fortune 500 company for 20 years, you know, and contracts. She's, you know, which is very just different, right? We tend to be very professional. We know how to get things done in the right way. We're great leaders. We know how to have conversations and get what we need without being, you know, rude or dismissive or anything like that. So that was a bad experience, and I will never do that again. And honestly, we got to a point where I had to speak to the partner that I actually signed up to work with, and I said, "Hey, this guy isn't even on any paperwork with us. I'm so sorry it's not working out. I would love to move forward with you, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to work with this partner in tow." And I still, you know, had some hesitation because I knew this person would still be in that partner's ear. I mean, it wasted so much time, so much money, so many resources, you know, uh, it it typically takes us a couple of months, right, to find a property, get it rehab, get the tenant in there, get Section 8 approvals and all of that stuff like that. I mean, we were working with this particular people, these people for like months because of the combativeness and it was just crazy. So yeah. So to answer your question, yes, we work with spouses. We want them to be involved. They don't have to be involved in a day-to-day, but we want to get to know them because we understand just how important it is for spouses to come together and make decisions. I hope I answered that question. I feel like I did. Okay. Best and worst. Okay, I'll tell you my best. So my best partners that I work with, my best partners are literally like, I'll send them a deal and say, hey, I want to buy this quad. And they're like, all right, cool. And they wire the money the next day. I mean, I really like that. I mean, I don't like that they're wiring the money to me. I would prefer it to go to the title company, but when we've done a lot of deals together, you know, they've learned very quickly, like, just send it to Ashley and she'll get it done. So those are kind of like my favorite partners. They're passive income. They don't want to know or be a part or do anything. They're just like, hey, here's my $20,000. Now show me how you're going to turn this into a couple $100,000. Cool. Do that. I do that all day long. My worst scenario was, partners, which is really that one I just described to you guys about, you know, partners and spouses and how that partner of a partner like really made things just a terrible experience for everyone all around. But I would say what also makes like a not so good partner is someone who doesn't take advantage of the education that's available. I have a lot of courses and things that I give to my partners, and I know you're going to have questions along the way, especially if you're new and especially if it's your first time working with me. But you have to remember, if I take out 3 hours of my day to have a long Q&A session with you and all of this and answer all of your questions, then that's 3 hours taken away from what I really should be doing, which is protecting our investment and making sure that I have the deal analysis right and I'm monitoring our teams and I'm getting the certifications. I can't be in both places at both times. And so I always send out like courses and, you know, Q&As or videos and things like that, especially when they have questions that are already in frequently asked questions, I'll send it. And I think I don't necessarily like it when they don't take the time to look at the materials that I sent them. And instead they're like, you know, insisting on like these long Q&A sessions. I don't mind it. I'm a teacher by nature, but I think it just becomes repetitive because it's already in the materials that I sent. And then it's taking my time away from doing what you really partner with me to do, which is getting us some houses that are cash flowing and getting the returns and results that we want. Okay, whew. Let me get a sip of water. All right, guys, if you like what I'm giving so far, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. And also, if you have more questions here that I'm not answering about partnerships, just put them in the comments. That'll give me more video content to do. Let me take a sip of water before I do this deal analysis, and that'll give you time to like and subscribe and share. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you, and I'll walk you through just some numbers. Okay, so this spreadsheet that you're looking at is where we kind of do our initial deal analysis. And I'll just walk you through the numbers on just one of the many deals that we do. We do a lot. Okay, so this one is a triplex, and my favorite place to invest. I have a city that I love to invest in over and over. This tells you how many beds and baths. Excuse me. The bedrooms are important because remember, Section 8 pays us by the bedroom. So we really try to optimize and get as many bedrooms as possible. I really like turnkey in this area, especially because they have hard winters. So during the winter time, we really only buy turnkey. We're not really going to be doing a whole lot of rehabs when it's snowing and storming all the time. This tells us our area grade, occupancy, creative finance, all that good stuff. Okay. All right. So let's get into the numbers. So here you see the asking price is $85,000. I estimated that we would need 12,500 for the rehab costs just to get it Section 8 ready because they have a very stringent inspection process, and we want to make sure that we're, rehabbing up to that standard. So all in, we're at 97,500. We know the property is actually going to be worth about $150,000. We just got a really good deal on it. Okay, so projected cash flow for this one is $3,500. This is easy. You just go look up the fair market rent on Section 8, and it'll tell you how much it'll pay for like a 3-bedroom house or a 2-bedroom house or a 4-bedroom house, blah, 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 blah. All right. Then over here, we start getting into our returns. So our gross monthly income is $3,500. Gross means this is what we get in a check before any expenses. Okay, our projected PITI, that is our payment, insurance, taxes, and interest, is going to be about $940 per month. And then our property management fee is going to be 10% of the income from the property. I am not the property manager, okay? I like to let the people who are good at property, again, I told you guys my weakness was admin and mundane tasks, so we let the property management company do that. That is $350 well spent. If you partner with me, I will not let you self-manage. I will always say we have to use a property management company because it just saves so much headache, and the paperwork is going to be done right when it comes time for taxes or anything like that, all right? Here's where we put our estimated reserves or home warranty. I leave that blank because we have one property management company that kind of already does their own reserves and things like that. But then the other one that we use does not. So depending on the property management company, that lets me know if I need to put a number here or not. So our monthly net cash flow is going to be, after all expenses, how much money are we going to be walking away with every single month? All right. And then our projected equity is $72,000. That just means how much extra money we have in the house minus the money that we put into it. So for instance, that just means if we were to sell the house tomorrow, we can make $72,000 in profit after we pay off the mortgage and things like that. Projected down payment for this one is about $19,500. So I told you guys, you don't have to be rich. Everyone thinks you have to be like this multi-millionaire or whatever. You literally can spend a year just saving up your money or working with whomever and come up with your $19,000 and get this kind of beautiful, wonderful cash flow, right? So we do a 30-year gross profit projection because sometimes you guys like to leverage the property for larger projects, which is fine. And so it just kind of tells you overall, based on your $19,000 initial investment over 30 years, that's going to make you $1.2 million. Yes, you invested $19,500, and after 30 years, you end up with $1.2 million. That's gross. And then we have our time and months where you're going to get the return on your investment. So because this cash flow is so high and we got such a good deal on this property, in 8 months, based on the gross returns that we'll be making on that. No, sorry, net returns that we'll be making on that. It'll only take you 8 months to make your money back. So that's essentially, we just did like the 2,500 times 8. And it takes about 8 months for you to make your initial down payment back. I know, get your mouth off the floor. I know, you're like, oh my God, that's awesome. I know. I love working with people who aren't used to this market because they're just like floored at how much money we're making, because not many markets can do that. Anyway, So our gross cap rate is 28%. Net cap rate is 20%. If you don't understand those numbers, right? For a residential property, 7% is about the industry standard to be considered a good cap rate. We're at almost 21%. Yeah, I know, that good, right? And then for commercial, it's a little bit lower, maybe like 3 or 4% for commercial properties, but we're not doing commercial right now, so I'm not even gonna talk about that. So this talks about, it breaks down for the year. So every year you'll be making about $42,000 per year on this property gross. And so after we pay all of the expenses and things like that, you'll be making about $30,720 per year net. Now remember, I don't think I mentioned this, so maybe no, don't remember. I'll say this. We have two services. So we have one service where we partner and we do everything 50-50. So that means this 30,000 per year is really $15,000 per year that you'd be making because we split everything 50-50. You bring the down payment, and of course, I take care of the risk, right? The loan goes in my name. I bring the experience, the expertise, and the time, and all that good stuff. But the other service that we offer is done for you, meaning you buy me out. You say, Ashley, I don't want to share the $30,000 a year with you. I want that $30,000 a year for myself. I want that full $1.26 million. Then in that case, you could just buy me out. Our minimum buyout starts at $10,000. That means you just write me a check for $10,000 and you make that $30,000 yourself that year. Or if it's a really, really high one, I don't think I have any on these because these are only residential properties. But just to give an example, we had a situation where we had I think it was an 8-unit, and the person wanted to buy me out. Well, in that case, we were making like about $80,000 per year. So yeah, $10,000 is not going to cover your buyout for something that would have been making me $80,000 per year. So we were able to negotiate and come up with a number, and instead they just bought me out for the first year. So they paid me $40,000, and then they kept the $80,000 per year going forward for the next 30 years. So I hope these numbers help to break it down a little bit. For deals that are a little bit more complicated, like if I'm doing like some creative stuff and things like that, or let's say, the seller that we're buying the house from told me something about the property, like, well, I have a tenant upstairs, but the downstairs needs blah, 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 blah. If it gets too complex, as you can see here, I'll just do a video explanation. I'll just break it down in video and give you all the details, because sometimes looking at these numbers can be confusing if you're new to this, but when I give you like the real story behind it, it starts to make the numbers come together and make more sense. Okay, I am far beyond my time. I know this, but I hope this helps you, and I really hope this it invites you to come and partner with me. I would love to talk to you and have a conversation with you. The link is below. It's calendly.com/Ashley Lorraine, M.Ed. And in that, we just call it a demo call. I'll come in, I'll listen to your goals. I'll see if our goals are aligned. If our goals are aligned, I'll see which service you feel most comfortable with. Do you want me to do it for you? Do you want to work with me? A lot of people choose to partner with me because they like the idea of me taking the risk, especially on their first few. So that's totally fine. But yeah, I'd love to meet you. I'd love to talk about partnering with you. And no deal's too big or too small. I've done deals where I've partnered on a 40 property portfolio, and I've done deals where we just bought a single family or a duplex, here or there. So I want to work with you because, again, my goal is to buy as many houses as I can. I strongly believe that we can change the world by changing children, and we can change children by changing their environment. That's why I really love to provide these beautiful homes to families that are one day going to grow up into the adults of the world that will be governing us. All right. I hope to work with you soon. I am Ashley Lorraine, M.Ed, and I specifically work in Section 8 investing, and I'd love to partner with you. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Hey, if you're still on here and you're still watching, I have a free course that's just going to give you an intro into what we do. So look into the description at the very bottom, and you'll see a link to a free course. It's quick, it's a mini course, but it's yours for staying on to the very end. See you soon.